Welcome to the next installment of Maritime Matters, the role of the maritime professional in a global pandemic.
Yeah. Okay, Gillian, thank you. I'm Sister Mary Leahy, and I'm a port chaplain in the Sydney ports. And I suppose, I usually visit ships and usually communicate with seafarers every day, maybe take them places, have a chat with them if they're worried about one thing or another. And so I'm just basically a helper, as they navigate their own lives.
Tony, why do you think that maritime matters, just in general, but especially during this time in history where we have the COVID-19 pandemic?
Oh, well, I suppose, I mean, in terms of our own country here, we're so reliant on shipping. And of course, there wouldn't be any shipping without seafarers. I know I'm a bit biased towards seafarers. I have a preferential option for them, I guess. But I think the fact remains that such a high percentage of things come to our shores through shipping generally, and on the backs of seafarers who actually bring things to us. So I think at times like this, it's more in our face how reliant we are on shipping, and hopefully with the help of God, when we get through all this, people may be more aware and maybe have more respect for shipping and seafarers and the maritime industry in general.
What are some of the things that you're doing, or some practical tips that you have for the industry?
I think just like as we are speaking now, I think that's a very supportive thing to do at this time. I think I communicate with people in the ports in terms of pilots and people on the tugs, wharfies, VTS people that I know, just encourage them, because they play such a critical role, of course, particularly pilots. And this is not only locally, but all over the world. I know from my own colleagues that pilots are assisting in so many ways in terms of taking phone cards in their little backpack on board. Some of our pilots here take chocolates. And these are the things, this is the welfare, this is wonderful. It doesn't rely on chaplains or churches. We can encourage this, but people are so good and they just want to help. So things like that. I know that, I think in Canada, I just read something this morning where colleagues are putting care packages, on the tugs, and then they lift them off with cranes and that, and just general care packages where seafarers might be running out of hygiene products and that things that wouldn't normally come in the provision list, encouraging people where, if they're not isolated like me, encouraging them maybe to keep an eye out for the most vulnerable, although we're all vulnerable at the moment. Seafarers are absolutely vulnerable, worried about family and being the breadwinner and trying to send money home through Western Union, all that kind of thing. So anyway, I would just like to thank those people who are helping on the edges at the moment. I think social media is very, very important. Sharing information from the maritime world generally, where seafarers, when they have Wi-Fi, they can read that, and that will help them have that sense of community, that they're not forgotten. I think for myself and colleagues like mine, sharing photographs, asking seafarers to send us photographs of themselves, whatever they're doing with their masks on, going about their duty. And I think that can go. The other thing, the people on the ground, I think for us to communicate with each other and that just basic caring level, ringing up, saying good day, how things, It's not so much a joke, but it's that little grace I use at times about there are good ships and wood ships and ships that sail the sea, but the best ships are friendships, and may they always be.
That's a wonderful thing to end
All right.
with. Thank you so